Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day, good moment to you, wherever and whenever you are on this sweet, wild, sacred earth. I'm Julie Ling, and this is the Voice of Wonder. Thank you for joining me. I invite you to let yourself settle in to your body, to the moment, to this now here that will never come again. Into your breath, just letting yourself be supported by the earth, by your chair, held by gravity, and let the music open your heart and bring you home. Usually I record these meditations in the morning, but the last couple of days I felt really called to do it at night. It's just past midnight in my time zone, and I have candles lit all around me, and it feels warm and soft and magical and mysterious. And I invite you to drop in to the mysteries inside of you and all around you. One of the mysteries that I'd say I've been exploring, but really it's more like has enveloped me, has surrounded me, has come to me, is the mystery of grief and love. We only grieve what we love. And my mother died about 1.25 years ago. And I felt mostly fine. A couple things came up around Mother's Day and on my birthday, which feels weird to have a birthday without my mother in the world. And I'm thinking of a trip. Looked at a place on a map where I had a really clear memory of something that happened with her and burst into tears. I've also finally been watching the digital photo album, or turned it on and have it going, that has many pictures of my mother and my dad, other family members, some of whom are no longer around, some of whom I'm not very close to anymore. And first I was happy seeing the images, and then I noticed the sadness. And part of the sadness was this grief over seeing pictures of myself when I was young, in my early 20s, early 30s when I was married, and seeing how beautiful I was, how young I was, how fresh and alive I was, and I couldn't see it then. I'm feeling sad for what I missed. I missed my own beauty. I missed my own aliveness. I was so self-conscious and so sure that I wasn't even pretty, let alone beautiful. I was afraid to believe anybody who said I was. And looking at these pictures, I felt this grief come up around how I missed my own beauty, my own worth, my own liveliness, my own smiles, the way I could really rock a hat even 30, 40 years ago. And I invite you to just notice whether or not there's grief for you around yourself and what you missed in you, how you missed your own beauty, how you missed your own verve, your own life, your own je ne sais quoi. Perhaps in looking at old pictures or old videos or whatever it was. And remembering that we only grieve what we love. And can you appreciate now your own beauty, your own handsomeness, your own life, your own uniqueness, your own joie de vivre, your own what makes you you? I just invite you to look at your internal photographs and photo albums and revel in it. It's not too late to revel in it now. Just noticing, where did you miss yourself? And where can right now you find yourself? Find your own beauty. Revel in your own beauty from then and look in the mirror and see your own beauty now. It's different. It's older. It's probably a lot wiser. You missed it then, but now you have more wisdom. Now, can you seize the moment, carpe the diem, of what you've got now? Can you give yourself that grace to not wait for 10 or 20 years and see that you missed it, what you've got now? And even if there isn't a mirror handy now, imagine it. Imagine what you'd love to see and revel in your sense of humor, your sly wit, the look in your eye, the way you wink, the way you turn a phrase, the way you cut the light fantastic, the way you love your friends, the way you do your job, whatever it is. Can you revel in it now? Can you meet yourself in the magic and beauty of you right now? Can you give yourself the love you haven't been able to give yourself before? You didn't feel like you got to. It had to come from out there. It'd make you too big for your britches. It'd make you too full of yourself. I ask you, who the hell else are you supposed to be full of but you? And I don't mean that in an inflated, puffed up way, hiding some fear underneath, because that's always what's underneath the people who are over the top that way. And can you let yourself be filled up with you to overflowing so that the you-ness that is unique in all the world to you can flow out like a fountain and be offered to anybody who might benefit from it? Can you? Can you? Can you do now what you haven't been able to do before? Now that you're older, now that you're wiser, now that you've lived a little more, experienced a little more, and maybe precisely because of the things you have lost and grieved, can you let that be the charge that lights the dynamite, the catalyst that shifts you into not missing the beauty of you right now, into not missing the joie de vivre alive in you right now, the gifts you've got right now, the wisdom you've gained? all that you have to offer, even if it's the way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, no, they can't take that away from me. And I know I just changed key. Forgive me. Can you drink it in now? Can you receive it now? If you're in a room filled with candlelight, can you let in all the beauty and all the magic of it? If you're out in the bright sun that will never shine quite this way again, can you drink that in right now in a way you never have before? What if you can? I invite you to honor whatever grief arises within you, especially around yourself and not being able to see yourself for whatever reason and wishing you had. And can you look at the other side of that arrow and see yourself now? The beauty that is unique to you. So many things that only you can do. Maybe even the things that you do badly. There's a story Brene Brown tells. It's in one of her videos, and forgive me, I don't remember now which one it is. It's either the one on vulnerability, I'm not sure. But she tells a story about a couple whose child died, and they missed him so much, and he was famous for letting the screen door slam behind him. And so they would take turns slamming the screen door, so that they could feel his presence, so that they could remember him and their love for him. Even the things you don't do well, can you love those? The way you lose your keys or sing off key or forget things or sometimes let your temper get the better of you and then are able to say to your friends or loved ones, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please forgive me. Or the way you can't. Can you love those things too? Can you gather like Mary all of them and ponder them in your heart? Can you be the one you've been waiting for you? Can you revel now in all the beauty that is in you and is in your life so that you don't look back a year or 5 or 10 or 20 from now and say, oh man, I wish I'd seen it. That's my wish for you. And I invite you right now to just breathe in one thing about yourself that you treasure, that you love. And let it fill up every cell in your body, that quality and your appreciation of it. And as you exhale, let it fill your whole body and be, this thing you love about you. You get to love about you. And maybe it's a secret thing you never share with anybody else. And yet right now you can own it and you can love it in you. How juicy is that? I invite you, double dog dare you, to love these things about yourself you've wished somebody else would love or wished other people wouldn't not like. What if you claim that right now? I'm going to love this part of me. I'm going to own this part of me. It's part of all of me. And I am all my parts and they're all welcome. Even the part of me that doesn't like it. Even the part of me that says, hell no, you're going to tell me what to do. I'm not going to do it. That part too. What if? What if you could love all the parts of you? What elf? I don't know. What elf? Maybe there's an elf that can love all of you if you can't yet. Call them in. Just right now, think of one thing that you can claim and love in and for yourself. You are beautiful. You are worthy of as much love as anyone else is. Maybe you've thought, oh, it's important to help other people and take care of other people and love other people. And as Louise Hay once said, you are a people too. And what you don't give yourself, but give to others instead, you can always feel that even tiny little thread of giving to God. I invite you to drop that and give it to yourself first. Give it to yourself first and let it overflow and overflow and overflow till you don't need it from out there, and then watch it come. Because that's usually how it works. Not when you do it to get it from out there later, but when you do it just for the joy of it and the pleasure of it and for the fun of it, without any attachment to it changing anything, man, that's when the change comes. I've been thinking of my mother the last few days, and for most of my life, I wanted desperately for her to see me, for her to appreciate my writing and tell me what she loved about it, instead of getting out her red pencil and tearing it apart and then saying, well, you asked for my opinion. Why did you ask if you didn't want it? And I love my mother, and she did that often. And I think it was because she didn't know how to do anything else, and probably because she sensed how desperately I wanted it, and that part of her that didn't like to be pushed was like, no, not doing it. I'm going to stay safe, and I'm going to criticize. And once I let go of it, the last few months of her life, probably the last, I don't know, last 6-9 months, I let go. I gave up on ever getting it from her. And once I did that, it poured in. She said things I dreamed of hearing from her my whole life. And when I didn't need them, that's when they came pouring in. So I invite you to give yourself what you've been most craving from other people, just for the pleasure of it. Because you can, you get to. You're a people too, and you get to have your own love. I want it for you. And if that's really hard and you don't know how, I offer you mine. Even though I maybe haven't met you, I know you are beautiful. I can feel your energy on the other side of my camera, and I love you. And I invite you to love yourself a little bit more. So I'm Julie Ling, inviting you to let your heart sing, and when grief comes up for you, to welcome it. Let it be a catalyst to appreciate what you have now, so that later part of the grief isn't, oh, I wished I'd enjoyed it when I had it. I wished I'd seen it before. See it now. Life is short. I like to say any of us could be hit by a bus tomorrow, except there are no buses where I live, so it's unlikely for me. And still, you never know. So seize the moment and claim yourself. Be the one you've been waiting for. So let your heart sing with more love, more appreciation, more joy in you. And I tell you, when you do that, it becomes contagious and other people join you. So have a beautiful and blessed day or night. Wherever you are, you can step in between into the land of dreams, into the mystery and magic, and see a little more, breathe in a little more of it. I hope you will. I'll be back tomorrow, and I hope you'll join me.